Okay guys, welcome back. So this is the second part of this kind of programming series. Today what we're going to be talking about is we're going to be talking about this bottom part of the iceberg, which is going to help us all up, get up to this top part, this top 1% of the iceberg where we're smashing our fight, we're not gassing, we're strong, we're powerful and we're winning. Alright, so here what we're looking to do is we're looking to improve our maximal strength, okay? So this is going to be the slower lifts, the heavier lifts of the whole sort of periodization chart. We're not focusing too much on power development here. We're mainly just looking to get our movements down T and improve as much as we possibly can. And obviously help any sort of injury prevention or anything like that as well, okay? So here's a quick rundown of what we're looking to do throughout this whole thing. Here, we're not going to have any fights booked, okay, so it's important to remember that we're not going to have any fights booked during this phase, so we're just looking for, we can use block periodization, alright? Block periodization is very good. We can't usually use it, especially if we've got an active fighter, because we can't be, say, building up one sort of, one methodology, say, or one attribute, say max strength, and then suddenly we've got a fight in a week's time, okay? So block periodization here, we can use it because we will not have a fight booked. We know we won't have a fight booked within the next sort of 12 weeks, okay? During this time, during this pandemic, it might be a good thing, you know, to work on some block periodization. That's what I've got my guys on, because we've got no fights coming up. There's no shows, all right? We're gonna be heavy lifting, as I said, and we're gonna be working on eccentric and isometric movements, okay? So we can use them now. This is gonna provide us with a lot of CNS breakdown, a lot of muscular breakdown, but that doesn't matter because our skills training isn't quite as high or as intense or hasn't got the higher volume that we will have when we're at the top of the iceberg, okay? That doesn't matter too much, okay? So we can get the CNS breakdown here because we're not going to be training as much as what we would have here, all right? This is going to be slower lifts, all right? But make sure, a lot of people say when you got slower lifts, obviously that just means we're at the top of the velocity curve, okay? We are still coaching maximal intent, and this is a really good time to really put emphasis on coaching that maximal intent, because we are going to be having heavier lifts. They are going to be slower, but we're still going to try and lift them as fast as we possibly can, okay? It's obviously just going to be slow. Obviously, if you're lifting 200 kilos compared to 50 kilos, 50 kilos is going to be a lot faster, okay? So we're more at that upper range, that max strength range, so it's slower, but still maximal intent with every single thing we do, okay? Here we're going to include a lot of structural integrity work. The sessions can be slightly longer than when we're at this top part of the iceberg, so we can include more structural integrity work, maybe work on any injuries that they had from their last competition, from their last fight, or any niggling injuries that they've had throughout training in the past. We can really put an emphasis on that and really work structural integrity into the programming, into the key exercises as a superset, as long as it doesn't fatigue, and into the accessory lifts, okay? Now this is going to be stuff that's very easy, or should be very easy and very basic to do, but it might be quite hard. So the prime example is wall angels. It's a very easy exercise if you've got spot on posture, really good, very easy. A lot of fighters, a lot of athletes do go into kyphosis, do have rounded shoulders, so it can be quite hard for them, okay? We're also going to work on basic movements. So by basic movements, I'm talking about like your landing mechanics, your lateral movements, your hip rotation, all that sort of stuff that's going to help us move up this iceberg, okay? It's basically going to help us because as soon as we get to this part, we want to do some contrast training, which could be jump training, or plyometrics even. As soon as we get to the top part, we are going to be doing plyometrics or harder jump training, more power development, okay? So this down here, this is a good key time where we can work the lateral movements, the change of direction, get some agility in there even if possible, and start to even work some jumps as well if we get that sort of, if we get the basic movements and the landing mechanics down T. All right, main focus for here is going to be our aerobic development as well as obviously max strength. So we're looking at aerobic development as much as we possibly can. So this is going to be a mixture of aerobic capacity, more your LSD stuff, so your long steady distances, talking sort of 30 to 45 minutes, keeping your heart rate around 155 to 160 would be the absolute max. And aerobic power development. So we're looking at, you know, stadium stairs are really good for this, sled work is really good for this. Anything where you're kind of loading it up or making it a little bit harder than usual. Hill sprints are really good as long as it's not more than sort of 6% incline. doing 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes on, and then sort of at a 2-to-1 work rest ratio. So if you're doing 2 minutes on, 1 minute off, again, keeping the heart rate in that sort of aerobic zone. So you're not talking any more than 160 beats per minute, and just build up the intensity from there, keeping it at 160 beats per minute. So a good progression for this is obviously the time, but it could also be, say, the weight on the sled or something like that, or starting to do resisted runs, or increasing the hill from like 3% to 6% incline. Something like that is going to help you out really well with this one. All right. Remember, main thing with this is there is absolutely no chance of getting a fight booked. Okay. Aerobic development's good. We need it to move up and up and up the iceberg. We need it. We need good aerobic development to ensure we can move on to our anaerobic, and we can build anaerobic as much as possible. But to do that, we have to make sure there is absolutely no chance of getting a fight booked. Okay, we can't have the CNS or the musculature breakdown if we've got any chance of getting a fight booked. Okay, we can't really focus on the basic movements when we've got a chance of getting a fight booked, because we need to be working on power development there, and the basic movements aren't going to give us that. Don't get me wrong, we do work on basic movements throughout fight camp, but then more goes from the main session or the supersets of the key lifts onto movement prep. So that's when we're going to work the lateral drills, change the direction in the movement prep, which is then going to help them for their more power development phase, okay, or ballistic work. All right, so one more time, no chance of getting fight booked. Don't forget that, no chance of getting a fight booked. All right, because of all this, it's going to break us down quite a bit. Okay, there's going to be a lot of fatigue, and if there is any chance of getting a fight booked, they're going to increase their skills training. That's going to get harder and a lot more volume, and we can't be in a max effort, max strength phase for that time. Okay, hopefully that helped, guys. If you got any questions, just leave them in the comments below. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, and like the video if you liked it. Comment below, do whatever you want, have fun, and I'll speak to you later.